to our Builder Innovator Summit Presenter Spotlights. My name is Sharnice Houston, Program Manager of the Builder Innovator team and also the host of this series. Today, we're excited to introduce to some, but reintroduce to others, our Structures and Systems Track Chair, Tim Costello.
That's me.
Thank you so much for joining us, Tim. We're going to go ahead and pop off the interview with the most basic question. Could you give us a brief introduction of your background in the industry?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Probably goes way too far back. I was actually a historical renovation and remodeler at one point in time. I built custom homes in partnership with another builder at one point in time. And then I was also involved in the production building world with that same partner. About 22 years ago, though, I started the home building industry consortium called Builder Home Site, and it's best known for New Home Source, which is the industry's largest kind of new home website for consumers to find new homes, and Innovator and VR and AR technology for home builders, and Envision, which was the options management system. So ran that for 22 years, and along with all the big builders as we started to adopt to technology innovation over the course of the last few years.
Awesome. 22 years sounds so crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm really old. That's what it sounds like.
So I know that you've seen a whole lot of change, a whole lot of improvement and innovation in the industry. Based on what you've seen, what are some of the biggest challenges you think builders face when integrating innovative structural solutions?
Yeah, first I'll just pause. Have I seen a lot of innovation and change in building? And the answer is sure. Builders do things differently today than they did 25 years ago. But, I came into the home building industry after having been in the semiconductor industry as well, and also in the auto industry. And my role, in the auto industry was really to look at advanced technologies, figure out how to implement advanced technologies into products. Mm-hmm. And when I compare the home building industry to other industries, the rate of technology adoption actually doesn't seem that stunning. It doesn't seem that quick at all. Clearly, 22 years ago, builders didn't even have websites. They didn't know how to deal with web leads. They didn't have virtual reality or renderings of their homes, or any of that kind of stuff. So a lot's changed in 22 years. But in 22 years, we didn't have quantum computing at all. We didn't have a cell phone at all, right? Other parts of our lives are changing dramatically in the course of a few years, mm-hmm. where the rate of change in home building, we just have to understand it has been actually way slower than the rest of industry. And I'm not trying to beat up the industry about it. We just have to kind of accept that we have not been changing at the same rate that the world around us is changing. And that's actually causing a problem. Mm-hmm. So what happens is these innovations kind of start to build up, and we get kind of left further and further behind. And that can cause problems because it enables the newcomers, new builders, to come in innovatively and do something very different than the way you're doing it, which could result in a substantial market presence differentiator. We haven't seen a lot of that, but we are starting to see some of the first elements of that actually in the business today.
I'm wondering, why do you think that is? Do you think there's something holding builders back?
Yeah. Again, my whole thing here, it's not to beat builders up.
Right.
And your question is really profound. Why is it? Well, it's kind of structural. Mm-hmm. Homes are built on site, which means because of that, we don't have a lot of foreign competition. It's not like you're seeing, container ships of Chinese homes being shipped across the ocean and just, pop in a big box, and we can now walk through any big box and pick out hundreds of homes and take them home, home with us and plop them on our lot, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that kind of product, right? So the international rules of competition are very different. So we don't compete against the innovations in Europe. We don't compete against the innovations in Asia. And the kind of homes that are built all over the world aren't consistent. So in the auto industry, cars are kind of consistent. It doesn't matter whether you're in Africa, in New Zealand, and China or Great Britain. Car's a car. They're a little smaller, or they're a little this or a little that, but the technology base is really the same. That's not that's really not true in housing. The technologies actually are very different region to region. The regulations are different. How people live is very different. So housing has not really had these kind of deep competitive drivers to adopt technology. Now,
Mhm.
the other thing is there are a lot of players. Builders generally don't actually build, right? They really just have land and they have plans, and then they hire people to build their homes. So there's this massive then trade network, right? So the builder really doesn't control how he builds a home in most cases. The trades kind of control how the home is built. Trades are generally small and undercapitalized. They don't invest a lot in technology, in innovation. The engineering of systems is another huge problem. Builders don't engineer the systems. Many of these trades don't have the scientific background or the capability to engineer the systems.
Mhm.
So the systems just end up being kind of a collection of parts, which is, doesn't lead to the most advanced systems being put in homes. And I don't want to paint all builders that way, because it's not. You've got some builders that are amazing, they engineer systems. You got some trades that are amazing, they engineer systems. But if you look across the entire country, you look at everything, in
Mhm.
general, that's something that we don't see. So there are some structural impediments that we face, but there's also really strong forcing factors to make us want to adopt technology. Housing is increasingly unaffordable,
Yeah.
right? The
Mhm.
way we live our lives, both in homes and outside of homes, is changing dramatically. So our relationship with housing is changing. So this is all kind of forcing factors saying, if I could use and adopt technology and build a different product for today's Gen Z buyer, for example,
Mhm.
uh, I might be able to find an incredible market niche to serve an entire constituency of new young professionals coming into the market that want to buy homes that the traditional home building market in the United States really does not supply and support. And I'm not saying that's the only market for technology, but that's an example of a market for technology, right?
Right. Whew, that's a lot.
So that's why right, it's a long series of questions that have to be asked, right?
Right.
And it's a lot of different dialogues you have to have.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. So you definitely pointed out a few of the key challenges that we face and that a lot of builders face in our industry right now. But I know that you have your ear to the streets and you know of some exciting advancements that are happening. I wanted to know, could you highlight a groundbreaking project or technology that builders should be paying attention to right now?
Yeah, I think, look, you can go all the way to having completely pre-manufactured homes, which I'm a big advocate actually of modularization. But
Mhm.
one of the things that I see right now is the move away from the complete stick-built home, where lumber's dumped in the mud. Trades show up. They start to sort through all the lumber. They start to cut things on site and throw things away, and
Mhm.
they start to kind of build the home. There are so many advancements now, either in the wood side or in the metal side, to be able to start that whole process with at least components,
Mhm.
sub-assemblies, whether they be wall panels, roof panels, whether it be shear panels. You can kind of do any level of that. But I think we're going to be forced into that for a variety of different reasons. Cost is one of them, just the efficiency of material utilization. And then two, we face an incredible demographic and labor shortage problem that is going to get worse and worse and worse in this country. So I think we're going to be forced into some of these technologies because of the sheer lack of labor. So I think that's one area that all builders need to be focused on: is how do they end up basically building the envelope of the home, using less labor and less time on site, and
Mhm.
be able to more efficiently use modern manufacturing methods to bring panels or at least some subsystems and structures to the site.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good point that you bring out because I can imagine there are builders who want to do more. They want to be more innovative. They want to try different things, but they're limited and pulled back by what you said, the labor shortages or the cost, especially just like with everything going on now.
Yeah.
Um, I could just
And
only imagine how hard
but the
that
change is still hard for builders, and I have
is.
empathy, because what will happen is you'll have a builder that says, okay, look, I get it, this is tough, this is hard, I'm gonna actually start using modules. I'm gonna use modular wall panels or sit SIPs or something, whatever. They picked a technology that works for them in their market and their geographic zone and all that kind of good
Mhm.
stuff. And then they go out to their trades, and their trades goes, we don't work with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that becomes challenging for a builder because a builder doesn't do it themselves, right? They have to
Mhm.
then find a trade that will work with them with those technologies. So that becomes a challenge in our industry when the builder can't just find a technology and make the decision and do it, because they
Mhm.
have to get their trades in line with them and capable of using those technologies as well. And many, like I said before, many of the trades in our industry are undercapitalized, underinvested, both educationally and from an asset perspective and balance sheet perspective, to be able to use some of the more advanced technologies.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as we look ahead to the summit, what are some key takeaways that you hope that attendees gain from your structure and system track?
Yeah, I mean, I approach all of these summits the same, which is
Mhm.
you hope that they, one, get away from their daily hassles and the fog of war that they have to deal with every single day, where there's just a million issues driving them. It's hard for them even to have a clear thought about the future. So, one,
Yeah.
get them away for that, and that means you got to go away for a couple of days. You can't go away
Mhm.
for 2 hours because you're still thinking about the fog of war and everything
Of
around it. Go
course.
away for a couple of days, and then be presented with some innovative and insightful ideas, and kind of learn how to vet them.
Mhm.
They're not all going to be right for you, and that's
Mhm.
okay. They're not all meant to be right for you, but learn how to vet them. Learn how to look at this idea very objectively, understand what it can do for you and your operation, what it would take to actually implement it,
Mhm.
how it would help you succeed in the market and be more competitive. And if it looks really promising, then start to set out a plan of how you are going to experiment with it, try it, use it, right? And eventually integrate it in your operations. And others you might vet and go, that's cool, that's interesting, and I understand why builders would use that. There's no way it's going to work for me. I'm in the
Right.
wrong geographic zone. I'm in the wrong price point. My consumers, that's a different market.
Mhm.
It's okay. But you've at least rationally and objectively vetted. And so what I'm looking for is two things: come with an open mind, free yourself from the fog of war, open yourself up to new ideas, and learn how to vet, so that you can walk away then with a dance card that says, look, I came away, there's three things that I think might actually help me going forward. One of them I can just start doing tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
One of them I need to kind of start to work on, experiment, learn more about, right? I'm not quite ready, but I'm going to walk down a path. And maybe a
Mhm.
third one says, I'm just going to watch this. I think it could be really cool. I'm not quite ready, or it's not quite ready, right? But I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be cognizant, and I'm going to keep tabs on it. And I'm going to continue to percolate that in the background until it is ready for me. So that's really how I think a builder should kind of come to one of the Builder Innovator Summits.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Tim. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to sit with me and
My pleasure.
discuss. I appreciate just you spending the time with me. And to our viewers, please stay tuned for more interviews, and we hope to see you at our event in April in Orlando. All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
Bye bye now.